friends. In the last class we have learned about the concept of forfeiture of shares, and we discussed the concept, the meaning of forfeiture, and what are the conditions with regard to forfeiture, and whenever there is a forfeiture of shares going to occur in a concern, what are the procedures the company must follow in order to conduct the forfeiture of shares. So let us discuss the further theoretical aspect, especially with regard to forfeiture of shares, and in that we will study in detail the theoretical aspects of forfeiture of shares when the shares are issued at par, when the shares are issued at premium, and at the time of discount. So how we are going to deal with the cancellation of shares, otherwise known as forfeiture of shares, under these three situations. There are certain journal entries with regard to that. Let us discuss in detail the forfeiture of shares under these three situations. We have learned about all the initial theoretical aspects of forfeiture of shares. Now let us go directly into the forfeiture of shares at the time of issue at par. So, forfeiture of shares issued at par. The concept of forfeiture means cancellation of shares. So, what is the meaning of forfeiture of shares issued at par means, or what is the concept with regard to that is, the shares can be issued at par, at premium, at discount, whatever may be the situations, that depends upon the operations of the concern. So, the company might issue their shares at par, and when the shares are issued at par, some shareholders may fail to pay any of the installments. So such failure or such default in payment by the shareholders leads to cancellation of shares. In other words, we can say forfeiture of shares. So whenever the shares issued at par are subjected to forfeiture, that concept is going to be discussed in detail here. So forfeiture of shares issued at par. When the shares issued at par are forfeited, the following journal entries are passed. Share capital account debtor, it will the amount called up on forfeiture of shares. To share forfeiture account, that will be the actual amount paid by the defaulter, and to share allotment, it will be the amount unpaid on allotment or call. Let us discuss in detail the meaning of this journal. So, in this entry you can see share capital is debited. We have learned that whenever there is an issue of shares, we receive money from the subscribers, and we will credit those amounts in the share capital account. So whenever there is an increase in capital, the share capital is increased and its account will be credited. So when there is a cancellation of shares, what is the condition of share capital? When the shares are cancelled, the amount of share capital is reduced. Whenever the share capital is reduced, the account will be debited. So that is why share capital account is debited. So share capital account debtor, amount called up on forfeiture of shares. That means at the time of forfeiture of that particular shares, what was the actual called up capital? That amount has to be shown here. And to share forfeited account, and next line it is written share allotment account. Share forfeited account means cancellation of shares occur whenever a shareholder fails to pay any of the installments. So share forfeiture account, here we will record the amount that was actually paid by the shareholder. For example, a shareholder might have paid the amount of application money, but he failed to pay the allotment and further installments. So what was the amount actually paid? He paid the application amount. So instead of writing the application amount, you will write like to share forfeited, because the payment made by him cannot be continued. So his shares are going to be cancelled. His shares means the amount paid by him. He paid the application amount. So we are going to cancel the amount paid by him because he didn't pay the allotment and further installments. So the capital that is held until that point of time is the amount of application. That has to be cancelled. So instead of that, we will write to share forfeited account. That is the amount actually paid by that defaulter or shareholder who didn't pay the full installments. 2. Share allotment. To share allotment, here it doesn't mean like always it will be share allotment. It might be share allotment, or it might be share first call, it might be share second call. Anyway, we are going to write the name of that installment here, for which the shareholder, that particular shareholder who failed to pay the installment money, payment of that particular installment. In this situation, let us discuss an example of that same case. Application money paid by a shareholder. Let us discuss that example. A situation where a shareholder paid the application amount. He didn't pay the allotment and further installments. So it will be written like share capital. What was the total amount of called up capital? 2. Share forfeiture means actual amount paid by him. That is the application amount. That will be written here. 2. Share allotment. Since he didn't pay the share allotment and further calls, we will write to share allotment the amount that he didn't pay. If the default was made at the time of first call, here it will be written like to share forfeited account to share first call. Here the name will be given to those particular installment for which the shareholder didn't pay. The name of that installment will be written here. That is the concept. So it doesn't mean like always you have to write to share forfeited to share allotment. It depends upon the question. If he failed to pay allotment, you have to show share allotment account. If he failed to pay first call, you have to show to share first call account. Or if he didn't pay the second call, you have to show to second call account. When whatever the installment in which he is failing to pay, that installment name has to be written here and its amount has to be shown. So actually, for example, 100 was the total amount of capital called. Here 100 will be written, out of which 20 was paid by him. So here 20 will be written. So what was the default amount? Remaining is 80. So 80 will be written here. That is the concept. I hope you have got the concept with regard to the journal entry that has to be passed at the time of forfeiture of shares when those particular shares were issued at par. And sometimes the company might prepare calls in arrears account. Calls in arrears means whenever there is a default in payment, that account is known as calls in arrears. That particular defaulting amount will be shown in the calls in arrears account also. So in case of calls in arrears account is maintained by the company, the calls in arrears account would be credited instead of share allotment or share call or call accounts. That means in the question it is mentioned that the company is preparing a calls in arrears account in order to show the default in payments. So if it is mentioned like that in the question, that the company is maintaining calls in arrears account, so instead of writing share allotment account, you can write calls in arrears account, because you need to cancel that calls in arrears, because calls in arrears is prepared whenever there is a default in payment, with the intention that the concerned person might pay in future. Here forfeiture means we are cancelling everything. So there will not be any more calls in arrears, or there will not be any more shares for that particular shareholder. So we need to cancel everything. So if the concerned might have prepared the calls in arrears, instead of writing share allotment, you have to write calls in arrears. That will be mentioned in the question. Don't worry about it. We will discuss the cases with regard to that. So remember, if the company or the concern is maintaining a calls in arrears for the default in payment of any of the installments, instead of writing the name of the defaulted installment, mention calls in arrears. So if for example this was a question, and in the question it is mentioned that company is maintaining calls in arrears account, the entry will be share capital account debtor to forfeiture account debtor, to forfeiture account to calls in arrears account instead of the name of that defaulted installment. That is the concept. And what we are going to deal with the share forfeiture account. In the last class, in the theoretical aspect of the forfeiture, we have mentioned about the concept of forfeiture, how we are going to deal the forfeiture account in the further statements. The balance in the share forfeited account is shown as a addition to the total paid up capital of the company under the head share capital under the title equities and liabilities on the liability side of the balance sheet until the forfeited shares are reissued. We have discussed about the reissued concept. Whenever the shares of a company is cancelled, the company might reissue such forfeiture. We will come to reissue. We will discuss about the reissue at that time. Until now, we will discuss about the forfeiture. So whenever there is a forfeiture account or forfeiture situation, we will prepare a forfeiture account, and whatever the balance in that forfeiture account will be shown in the liability side as an item added to the paid up capital. That is how you have to show the forfeiture amount in the balance sheet. So this is how you have to deal with the forfeiture of shares. Now let us go through a case study, then you will get a clear idea about how these forfeiture entries are passed whenever there is a forfeiture situation or a cancellation situation. So a case: ABC Limited is a company forfeits 500 shares of 10 each held by Anand, on which he has paid rupees 2 per share on application, 2 per share on allotment, 3 per share on first call, but failed to pay final call of 3 per share. Give the entries to record the forfeiture of shares. So 500 shares, a person holding 500 shares, total amount was 10 per share, 2 on application, 2 on allotment, 3 on first call, and 3 on second call. 3 plus 3, 6, 8, 10. Okay, just make sure whether these three amounts is tallying with the price of one share. If there is any difference, you need to make sure whether any details or any information with regard to amount is missing or not. So just add all these amount. Usually it will be tally 2 plus 2, 4 plus 3, 7 plus 3, 10. Yes, 10. You are getting the value of the share. Okay. So the situation is a person paid application, allotment, first call, but failed to pay final call. So the entry will be the same entry, this one. You have to draw a journal. Share capital account debtor to share forfeiture to share final call. See, share capital means actual amount that has to be collected from the prospective shareholders. See, 500 shares of a certain person. So 500, total value of shares is 10, 500 into 10, 5000. Next one is the important area, to share forfeiture and share final call. Share forfeiture means actual amount paid by that particular shareholder. See, Anand had paid application 2, allotment 2, first call 3. So 2 plus 2, 4 plus 3, 7. 7 rupees out of 10 is already paid by Mr. Anand. So rupees 7 worth of share. How many shares held by him? 500. So 500 into 7, 3500. See, to share forfeited, we are cancelling the amount paid by him. That is why to share forfeited is given, because 3500 worth of share was held by him. So, and he didn't pay the final call, and he is not paying the final call until now. Or until now means in the last class we learned about some procedures. After making intimations also, he is not paying in full. So if he is not willing to pay the full amount, then the company has the right to cancel it. Cancel means now Anand is holding 3500 worth of shares in his custody. So the company has to cancel those shares. That is why share forfeiture is given to 3500. Next, what was the installment he didn't pay? That is final call of rupees 3 per share. total shares held by him is 500. So 500 into 3, 1500. To share final call account. Entry being forfeiture of 500 shares at rupees 10 per share called up for non-payment of final call at rupees 3 per share as per director's resolution dated. We have learned about this theoretical area in the last class. So here in the theoretical aspect of calls in arrears has been mentioned. See in the second paragraph, in case of calls in arrears account is maintained by the company, calls in arrears account would be credited instead of share allotment or share call or call account. If such an information was given in the question, that is the company is maintaining calls in arrears account, there is a slight change in the entry. Entry will be like this: share capital account debtor 5000, to share forfeiture account 3500, to calls in arrears 1500. That is the only difference with regard to that. I hope you are getting the concept. So this is how you have to pass a journal entry with regard to forfeiture of shares, and it's very easy to deal such a situation. The only thing you have to make sure how much installments was properly paid by that particular shareholder. Share forfeiture will be given to those successful payment, and the actual name of the installment for which the shareholder failed to pay will be given in that particular entry. If the details with regard to calls in arrears is mentioned, instead of naming the default installment, name it calls in arrears. Now let us discuss another case. The directors of a limited company forfeit 400 shares of rupees 10 each, on which 8 per shares has been called up, held by Rajan for non-payment of first call rupees 2 per share. Give the entries to record the forfeiture of these shares. So go through the question very wisely. Even it is much simple than the previous one, but still there is a tricky adjustment is there. Directors of a limited company forfeited 400 shares of rupees 10 each, in the bracket 8 per share called up. So what is the total amount of share capital? Whether it is 400 into 10 or 400 into 8. How you are going to deal with such situation? So you have to go through the second paragraph in here. The balance, sorry, not in the second paragraph, in this point. See, share capital account debtor. Here is the point where we are going to show the actual amount of share capital for which the forfeiture is going to happen. Here it is given amount called upon forfeiture shares. Here for a certain person holding 400 shares is going to be forfeited. Its total paid up capital is 10, but for which 8 per share has been called up. So we have to consider the called up on forfeiture shares. So we have to take 400 into 8. That is the important thing you have to consider. So let us chalk out a journal: date, particulars, ledger folio, debit, credit. Entry will be same entry just like this. The only thing difference is share capital account debtor. Here the failure was made in first call, so it will be share capital account debtor to share forfeiture to share first call. Entry will be share capital means 400 into total called up capital 400 into 8, 3200, and to share forfeiture account, here we will show the actual amount paid by that particular shareholder. Here there is no yes, Rajan. Rajan has not paid the first call of rupees 2. That means he might have paid the other installment. Other installments means preceding installments was successfully paid by Rajan. Preceding installments are application, allotment, and total called up capital is 8. Out of 8 he failed to pay 2, so remaining will be 6. That particular person, Rajan, successfully paid share worth of rupees 6. Number of shares held was 400. So to share forfeited 400 into 6, 2400, and he failed to pay the first call money, so 400 into 2, 800. So to share first call 400 into 2, 800, being forfeiture of 400 shares at rupees 10 per share, were 8 called up for non-payment of first call at rupees 2 per share. So make sure the value of the capital you have to take. In the question, authorized may be given, paid up may be given, subscribed may be given, issued may be given, but important aspect you have to keep in mind while dealing forfeiture is the value of share or price of per share is to be considered on called up value. So called up value of the share should be considered apart from all other types of shares. Other types of means are issued, and in the question they may mention issued value, authorized value, paid up value, but the thing you have to consider is called up capital value at the time of forfeiture of shares. So these are the main aspects with regard to forfeiture of shares when the shares were issued at par. So these are with regard to issue of shares at par when forfeiture of those particular shares occur. I hope you have understand the concept with regard to that. If you have any queries with any of the points which we have discussed here or any of the cases which we have discussed here, please do let me know. Let us go to the next one. Forfeiture of shares issued at premium. It's very simple. The concept is the company might have issued shares at premium and any particular shareholder failed to pay allotment or first call or second call or final call, whatever it is, and when he failed to pay any of these installments, naturally his shares will be cancelled. Cancellation of such shares is known as forfeiture of shares. So in the whenever there is an issue of shares at premium and cancellation occur on such shares, the forfeiture of shares issued at premium is to be followed. That is, there is a certain journal entry with regard to cancellation of shares when those shares were issued at premium. Let us discuss in detail the concept with regard to that. Sometimes the shares issued at premium to shareholders have to be cancelled for non-payment of allotment or call money. We have mentioned that. In such a case, security premium has been received. Sometimes the company might have received the premium or sometimes it didn't receive the premium. That means the premium was in the first call installment, but the certain person didn't paid in full the first call money. Then in that case the company didn't receive the premium, so the company need not have to worry about the passing entry with regard to premium. Whenever there is a premium issue or cancellation of shares issued at premium, you need to consider the entries, because whenever there is premium entry in the cancellation, you have to pass it accordingly. For example, if the cancellation occurs in an installment where there is premium, you have to pass entry with regard to that. If there is no premium with regard to any of the installment in which the cancellation is going to occur, in that case the company need not have to worry. So we will discuss about in which situations the premium entry has to be passed and in which situation the premium entry need not have to be passed. That depends upon the situation. So let us discuss those situations. So when the shares originally issued at a premium are later on forfeited by the company, it belongs to any of the following categories. We are going to discuss in detail those two categories. Forfeiture take place after premium amount is received. Sometimes cancellation of shares occur after premium amount is received. For example, the company issued shares at premium on allotment and a shareholder might have paid successfully the application amount. He might have paid successfully the allotment amount. Allotment amount includes premium also, but he failed to pay first call. So we have to cancel those shares. So at the time of cancellation, whenever the shares are issued at premium, you have to consider the premium amount. But before that, passing the premium amount entry, you need to make sure whether the forfeiture take place before the premium amount is received or after premium amount is received. If the forfeiture takes place after premium amount is received, just like the example I have mentioned here, then the entry will be nothing, because in such case the premium so collected is not to be cancelled and hence not debited. The accounting treatment would be on the same pattern as in the case of shares issued at par and later on forfeited. Simple meaning means, if the company is going to cancel a shares for which the company has already received the premium, in that case the company need not have to cancel the premium entry because it is already received by the company, and failure to pay the installment is not the problem of the company, it is the problem of the shareholder. So the company need not have to return back the premium paid by him. The company can retain that premium. So whenever forfeiture take place after a premium amount is received, in that case you need not have to worry about any special entries to be passed with regard to premium. Just pass the forfeiture entry which you have learned in the case of par, that is issue of forfeiture of issue of shares at par. That entry has to be passed even if it is issued at premium. The thing you have to consider is that whether the forfeiture take place after the premium amount is received. In that case you need not have to worry about any special journal entries, just pass the entry which you have learned in the last method. That is one situation. But sometimes the company have to forfeit a shares in which the premium amount is not yet received. In that case, if the shares are forfeited at a stage when the premium amount has been due but has not been received, that is a situation. We know that we have to pass two entries for each installment. After the application we will pass the due entry first, after that payment entry. So at the due entry time we need not have to pass anything with regard to any default or calls in arrears or failure to pay. Nothing will be shown in the due entry. All such calls in arrears and adjustments will be done in the payment entry. So when an installment is issued at a premium, in the due entry we will show the total amount including the premium amount, and the actual premium amount and the amount of installment will be shown separately in the payment time or payment entry. So listen carefully, we will show the total amount of that installment including premium in the due entry, and the premium amount that has to be collected by the company will be shown separately in the payment entry. So in that case the company hasn't received the premium amount until now, but the company has already passed the due entry. So in order to cancel that, the company has to cancel the premium amount. So whenever the forfeiture takes place before the premium amount is received, the company must pass the journal entry in order to cancel not only shares but also the premium amount. So the entry will be share capital account debtor, amount called up, share premium account, that is the premium amount, to share forfeiture, that is the actual amount paid by the particular shareholder or the defaulted shareholder, and finally to share allotment, or it may be share first call or it may be share second call, that depends upon the question. here we will show the amount due on whatever installment, not only in allotment. If it is a case of a share first call, we will show amount due on first call. If it is a second call, we will show amount due on second call. That is with regard to that. So these are the entries you have to pass with regard to forfeiture of shares before the receipt of premium and after the receipt of premium. So I hope you have understand the concept. First case is forfeiture take place after the premium amount is received. In that case, you need not have to pass any special entries like this. Just pass the entry which you have learned in the time of issue of forfeiture of shares issued at par. And next one, forfeiture take place before the premium amount is received. That is, you might have passed the due entry, after that payment entry. In the due entry, it will have whatever it is in the due entry and payment entry, the premium amount, we will show total amount to be received by the company. That includes the actual amount of installment plus the premium amount. So in the due entry, we have already have passed the premium amount, that includes the share capital amount as well as the premium amount, and after that you will pass the bank entry. But that particular shareholder failed to pay that particular installment, so you need to cancel it. And you already passed the due entry, that is, if it is a case of share allotment account to share capital to security premium, so you need to cancel that. For cancelling that, you are showing share capital debit and share premium debit, because it was actually shown as a credit side on due entry. Whenever allotment become due, the entry will be share allotment account up to share capital to security premium. So in order to cancel that, you need to write share capital account to share premium. So we are cancelling the premium amount. That is why we are showing this entry when forfeiture take place before the premium amount is received, because first of all you will pass due entry, after that only you will pass a payment entry. So in the due entry, we have already shifted various amount to the various heads, that is, total amount to be paid in case of a share capital, the amount to be paid in case by way of premium is shown in the premium account. So we have already passed those entries. So in order to cancel that, you will pass this forfeiture entry, and remember, this entry is passed whenever the forfeiture take place before the premium amount is received. I hope you have got the concept with regard to forfeiture of shares issued at premium. So go through these cases, familiarize these concepts. We will discuss about the practical cases in the coming sessions. Until then, go through these. If you have any queries, please let me know.